The year was 1888. The streets of Whitechapel, East London, were shrouded in thick fog, gas lamps flickering against the damp cobblestone roads. It was a district marked by extreme poverty, overcrowding, and crime. But nothing prepared Londoners for what was about to unfold, a string of gruesome murders that would terrify the city and baffle investigators for over a century. This is the story of Jack the Ripper, a faceless killer who stalked the dark alleys of London, preying on women, leaving behind scenes of horror, and then vanishing without a trace. Over 130 years later, his identity remains a mystery, making him one of history's most infamous serial killers. The murders begin, the canonical 5. Between August and November of 1888, 5 women, later known as the canonical 5, were brutally murdered in Whitechapel. While other murders during this time raised suspicion, these 5 cases were linked by their similar methods, leading investigators to believe they were the work of a single killer. Victim number 1, Mary Ann Nichols. On August 31, 1888. Mary Ann Nichols, known as Polly, was a 43-year-old woman living in poverty. On the night of August 30, 1888, she was seen walking the streets, trying to earn money for a night's lodging. Just a few hours later, at 3:40 a.m. on August 31, her mutilated body was discovered on Bucks Row, now Durwood Street. The police initially suspected robbery, but Nichols had no valuables. The nature of the wounds suggested an attack driven by something far more sinister. Victim number 2, Annie Chapman. On September 8, 1888. Just a week later, on the morning of September 8, the body of Annie Chapman, a 47-year-old woman, was found in the backyard of 29 Hanbury Street. The increasing savagery of the attacks led investigators to fear they were dealing with a maniacal killer with surgical precision. Panic spread through Whitechapel. Victim number 3, Elizabeth Stride. On September 30, 1888. On the night of September 30, the killer struck twice in what became known as the double event. At 1 a.m., the body of Elizabeth Stride, a 45-year-old woman, was found in Dupfield's yard on Berner Street, now Enriquez Street. Evidence suggested the killer may have been interrupted before completing his gruesome ritual. Just 45 minutes later, another body was discovered. Victim number 4, Catherine Eddowes. On September 30, 1888, the second murder of the night. At 1:45 a.m., less than an hour after Stride's murder, Catherine Eddowes, 46, was found in Mitre Square, just outside Whitechapel. A piece of her bloodied apron was found a short distance away, near a message scrawled on a wall. "The Jews are the men that will not be blamed for nothing." Fearing anti-Semitic riots, the police erased the message before it could be documented. Victim number 5, Mary Jane Kelly. On November 9, 1888, the most brutal murder. The final known victim, Mary Jane Kelly, was murdered in her room at 13 Miller's Court. Unlike the others, Kelly was killed indoors, allowing the murderer more time to mutilate her body. This was the most gruesome crime of all, pushing the city into a frenzy of fear. The investigation, Scotland Yard's race against time. The Metropolitan Police and Scotland Yard faced an unprecedented challenge. Hundreds of officers scoured Whitechapel, questioning residents, setting up patrols, and even employing bloodhounds to track the killer. But the lack of forensic technology at the time made progress slow. The letters from Jack the Ripper. The media frenzy surrounding the murders intensified when authorities received letters signed by Jack the Ripper. The "Dear Boss" letter mocked the police and was the first to use the name Jack the Ripper. The "Saucy Jackie" postcard claimed responsibility for that double event. The "From Hell" letter came with a piece of a human kidney, adding to the gruesome mystery. But were these letters really from the killer? Or were they pranks by journalists fueling the hysteria? The theories. Who was Jack the Ripper? Over 130 years later, Jack the Ripper's identity remains a mystery, but several suspects have been proposed. Aaron Kosminski, a Polish barber linked to DNA evidence. Dr. Francis Tumblety, an American doctor with a hatred for women. Montague John Druitt, a barrister who mysteriously died after the murders. Prince Albert Victor, Queen Victoria's grandson, tied to wild conspiracy theories. Despite investigations, no conclusive evidence has ever identified the killer. The legacy of Jack the Ripper. The case remains one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in history. It led to advancements in policing, forensic science, and criminal profiling. Today, Jack the Ripper is more than a historical figure. He is a legend, a mystery, and a chilling reminder of a killer who was never caught. Did Jack the Ripper disappear? Was he arrested for another crime? Or did he take his dark secrets to the grave? One thing is certain: the hunt for Jack the Ripper will never truly end. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating stories from the past.